The poem Hope is a Thing with Feathers was published by Emily Dickinson in 1862 during the Romantic period. The poem explores the romantic ideas of hope in nature. Dickinson is a prolific American poet who is well known for a unique use of form and syntax. She was an extremely introverted person and lived in seclusion for her entire life. However, due to Dickinson being so isolated, she was able to find solace, peace, and ease in her poetry writing. Hope is a Thing with Feathers captures the dimensions of the soul and the orientation of the heart and spirit, which is in the form of 3 stanzas. In the opening line of Dickinson's poem, Hope is a Thing with Feathers, divulges Dickinson's love for birds, hence nature and her ability to be hopeful. It is through Dickinson's use of imagery and the metaphor of a bird, which is depicted further through the rhyme scheme of ABCB, ABAB, and ABBB. Romanticism is a cultural movement that influences visual arts, literature, philosophy, and politics and permeates beyond these designated boundaries to influence life. Romanticism takes responsibility for itself by artfully imagining nature as a cool but consoling companion inspired by hope. Hope and nature are the 2 distinct elements of Romanticism. Hope is the theme of emotions, and nature is the theme of the comparison between nature and the natural. Romantics believe that knowledge is gained through intuition rather than deduction. Emotion in Romanticism is best summed up by Wordsworth, who stated that Romanticism is a spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. On the other hand, Romantics espouse the beauty, spirituality, and qualities of nature in context of the Industrial Revolution. In addition to this, the Romantics transcended the world with their poetry illuminating the love of nature. It is through Dickinson's use of a metaphor and imagery to symbolize the diverse aspects of hope throughout the duration of the poem. In the first 2 lines of stanza 1, hope is a thing with feathers that perches in the soul. The words feathers and perches provide characteristics of a bird, which implies that hope is being portrayed as a bird. The imagery of the word feathers demonstrates that feathers are soft and gentle but strong in flight, whereas the word perches illustrates that hope is rooted in our souls and is always within us. Therefore communicates that hope is a pure feeling and it has a deep-seated longing within us that can take flight at any time. This indicates to the audience thoroughly about the contrasting aspects of hope. In stanza 3, Dickinson uses a language form of imagery. I've heard it in the chiller slang. The use of the first-person pronoun I've divulges a personal disclosure of the chiller slang, which is cold, frosty, and intense. Given this, Dickinson highlights the enduring nature of hope in the most austere climatic condition. Dickinson highlights that a hopeful person can withstand the most arduous situations. The concept of hope is galvanized as the bird is able to survive the most challenging situations, hence a storm and strange sea. Furthermore, gives the audience the impression that hope represents humility. Correspondingly, a university professor, Craig White, has discussed the themes of the Romanticism period and stated, Romanticism encouraged the exploration of feelings which followed the important concept of trusting intuition over reason. White's understanding of the Romantic period tells us that Romantics would always trust their feelings or emotions rather than reasons or facts, therefore galvanizes Dickinson's interpretation of that even in the most strenuous storm you will still be able to succeed, due to your feeling of being hopeful, whereas in reality you will most likely not be able to survive such an arduous storm. In addition to stanza 3, Dickinson's closure encapsulates hope as unconditionally present, which is personified by humility. Yet never in extremity it asks a crumb of me, thus emphasizing that hope is not demanding even within the most tumultuous conditions. Hope is inherently inspiring, hence empowering the reader. Furthermore, Assad's analysis of Dickinson's poem states that hope, according to Emily Dickinson, is the sole abstract entity which remains unabashed in the harshest of human conditions and circumstances, enabling a thicker skin on men. Assad's accurately presents an understanding and appreciation for Dickinson's personal representation of hope. He values the enduring capacity of hope as it gives and gives but never asks for anything in return. It is through Dickinson's use of alliteration which generates Dickinson's connection with nature, and "Sore must be the storm" in stanza 2. The value of giving the same S sound strongly divulges a connection between sore and the storm by Dickinson associating her emotion of pain to a negative aspect of nature, which is storm. Further communicates how nature was a source of relief for Dickinson in her life and how she had an understanding of nature and was able to transform it into her poetry. In addition to this, a well-renowned educator, Saucer, has commented on Dickinson's life and her poetry, mentioning Dickinson sought to escape from individual hardships through the use of her imagination along with finding spirituality through nature. Saucer resembles the fact that in Dickinson's life she had struggled with self-expression, therefore poetry was her way to be connected to nature and to be at ease with her self-expression. To conclude, Dickinson's use of diverse language forms helps support the romantic ideas of hope in nature, which are conveyed throughout the poem to grasp a sense of Dickinson's life and Dickinson as a romantic poet.